Welcome to the 12 Days of Whiskey Christmas, where I share whiskey with friends following the theme of the song, The 12 Days of Christmas. Today is day 3, better known as 3 French Hens. My guest today is joining me through the magic of the interwebs. This is my friend Pete. Pete and I went to school together over 30 years ago. And even though our high school was known for its underage drinking, you and I never drank together before right now, right?
That's right.
If this is your first 12 Days of Whiskey Christmas video, we try our samples blind. That means our guest doesn't know what they're drinking, which allows them to rate the whiskey with no bias. I emailed, or not emailed, that would be weird. I mailed each person 2 samples marked only with A and B. Um, Before we try each sample, I'm going to ask them to look away so that you at home know what we're drinking in that particular glass. Hopefully, you kept track of what you poured in each glass, Pete. You're good to go.
I did. Yep.
Awesome. All right, let's get into our first sample. Look away. All right, everyone, this is what we are trying in A. All right, you're good, Pete. All right. That is, I mean, I know what it is, but that is sweeter than I expected it to be.
It is very sweet, almost cherry.
Yeah.
My sense of smell was impacted when I first had COVID the first time.
Yeah.
So, but
Are you able to smell it all?
yeah,
Different.
typically has to be on the stronger side, but
Yeah.
I definitely get a sweet, fruity.
This is almost like those chocolate covered cherries you get at Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not crazy, right?
That's what I first smelled when I first opened it, and it's getting as it's warming up.
Yeah. And we'll go back to it after we do B, and I'm sure it'll be just for how sweet it is. I'm just guessing it's going to really open up over the course of a couple minutes.
Yeah.
All right, that's kind of all the notes I'm getting, but it's still, wow. I mean, I've had some bourbon today already, and this is still sweet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, if you're ready, let's have a little taste. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's even sweeter on the palate, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, I shouldn't put words in your mouth.
Real viscous.
Yeah.
Just kind of coated the front part of my tongue.
Yeah, it's hanging on for sure. It's definitely
Good.
got a lot of legs.
I like
too.
it. Yeah, I like it.
Do you think you've had it before?
No, I don't think I have.
I didn't see it in the photo you sent me the other day. Is the proof hitting you at all, or is it easy?
It's pretty easy. I'd say around 90.
I don't actually know. I mean, I could look over here, but I'm going to play blind with you and not look.
I mean, I don't think it's over 100.
Yeah, it seems lower, but it also that makes it easier to drink.
Yeah. There's almost I don't want to say minty or
Okay.
menthol kind of after.
Yeah. This is an interesting finish. It's yeah.
Huh. Let me rinse.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, we're going to come back to it, so let's jump into the next one, and then we can go back and forth. And
now this one had, I guess, more vapors, as I call them,
for sure,
when I first opened it up. It's starting to calm down a little bit.
A lot of times,
Almost what I get when not all distilleries distill their own spirits.
right, right.
The ones that age the neutral grain spirits. That
Yeah.
was kind of the first hint that I got.
Yeah, a lot of times there's bourbons that hit me too much with that ethanol. Like,
Yeah.
and this one I feel like my experience with it has done that before right
Mhm.
away. But
Yeah.
you're right, mellowing out is that's a good phrase for what's happened.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely not as strong as when I first poured it.
Are you getting cherry on this one as well?
Just a little.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different, there's still, it's
It,
fruity, but
it's
I don't,
it's not chocolate covered.
right.
Not as sweet.
It almost has, I'm not great with, I'm not great with noses. Um, I think bourbon's good and I appreciate the
Right.
people that do it, but I don't have all the stuff that everyone else has.
Right.
But this, I'll say this, and I'm probably completely wrong. It almost has like a plum. The sugar's in a
Yeah.
plum instead of like a cherry.
Hmm.
Kind of when they get soft.
I was almost getting a mandarin orange.
Oh yeah. I told my friend who's sitting in the next room and we just did one. I told him I'm very easily swayed sometimes by what people say.
Sure.
And
Well, I did caveat this whole thing with my sense of smell sucks. So it has its advantages and disadvantages. And
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
just leave it at that. But
All right. Well, let's go for this one. All right.
hmm.
That's warmer.
Yeah, little spicier, higher proof.
Have you ever been a pipe smoker, a cigar smoker,
Uh,
or not really?
cheap cigars, but
Okay. This has I got a tobacco kind of. I smoked pipes for a lot of years. I haven't done it a lot
yeah.
lately, but it this has almost like a pipe tobacco. What ends up on your tongue.
Mhm.
Sometimes the next morning after you smoked a pipe the night.
Right, right. Not quite as bad as the only time I smoked a Cuban cigar.
Mm,
Not a
not
fan.
great.
No, it was years ago. I was down in Panama for training, and of course you could buy them on the economy there, and
Sure.
everybody's buying them up and sitting there on the picnic bench smoking a Cuban cigar, and I'm like, I don't get it, guys. It tastes like dog crap.
Yeah. I'm glad you
This
said
is
that.
this isn't dog crap, but
Yeah, I've had cigars that I'm like this, like the next day, like pipes, white tobacco is natural. There's not, I mean, they, either ferment it or add sugar water
right,
or something. But there's no
yeah,
chemicals in it, like a cigarette or
right,
something. And the next morning, you often can't tell that I even smoked in the living room.
hmm,
Cigars, though, I have always said smell like poop the next day.
yeah,
I'm just noticing this. This is trying to, it's considerably darker.
hmm,
So you said spice when you first did it.
yeah.
I'm almost getting peppery.
Hmm.
You too, or am I influencing you?
Hmm. There's just this weird
Yeah,
after, like the taste on the tongue is okay, and then it changes
right.
as you swallow it. It's like transforming in your mouth.
And it's not like a viscosity finish. It literally changes in your mouth. It's
yes.
after.
Yeah.
I wonder what that is.
I don't know.
So I'll give you a little history about this bottle since I know what it is. This is a limited edition that was not available. I'd never seen it. I'd never seen it in a store. They've only done it 3 times, and they've done it every other year. So we're coming, like they just released, or maybe only 2 times. No, I'm sorry, 2 times. They just released the second batch. So what I found, do you remember East Palestine when you were growing up? So East Palestine were those, they're famous for the train wreck now, but
Right.
they have a little tiny liquor store next to a gas station, and it's a hole in the wall. And I walked in there after an event. My wife grew up there, and I went in there just to take a look at stuff. And they had an entire row of this bottle on the shelf, super dusty. Like all of them were from 2 years ago. And people in East Palestine, uncultured or not, I don't want to make fun of my wife's family, but it's like they didn't know what it was.
Right.
And I bought one. I told her, and then I went back and bought another one because I tasted this and I really enjoyed it.
Right.
So that's the only thing I'll share. Do you
Is
have
is that A or is this B that
that's
you're
B.
referring to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. Have you gone back to A yet?
I have not.
Go back to A and see what happens now that you've had B. Did it change for you?
Yeah.
In a good or a bad way?
Not as sweet. It
It almost cut the sweetness out, right? Or some of it.
It almost changed it to a more woody,
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of earthy taste.
You can taste the oak more. You can taste the barrel more now. Did you have you guessed the proof on A? Do you have a guess on, again, I'm not looking, so I don't remember.
Right.
Do you have a guess on B?
On B, I would say 113.
Okay. It's definitely hotter for sure.
Yeah, it's over 100. I don't think it's up to like 120 or anything, but
all right. Well, I'm gonna reveal. Well, let me ask you this: do you like one or more differently or better? Do you have a favorite? Or
as far as drinkability, I'd say A is probably more drinkable, but B is just interesting in how it changes. I'll call it the transformational bourbon.
Yeah, this one is. I'd sit around with some knowledgeable friends and discuss this, where I wouldn't discuss this one. I would just drink it. Yeah. This almost got a little flatter after doing this. If flat's a good description of anything.
Okay, last of A.
Okay. What do you think? Do you want to pick one, or are you just gonna? Are you fine with them just being different?
Oh, as far as a favorite,
Yeah.
I've never met a bourbon I don't like. Yeah.
I can tell you a couple.
I like these both for different reasons.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
All right. Here's your reveal. And remember, we're trying to keep in line with 3 French hens.
Okay.
Do you have a guess on anything before I?
No idea.
Okay. So the first one is Maker's Mark 46, which is French oak finished.
Yep,
If
I
you've
got you.
not seen how Makers does that, they do it for their 4 or 5 years, whatever they do their regular stuff.
Yep.
And then they stick it into with staves that actually stand up in a barrel with a metal ring around it.
Yep.
And it sits for another X amount of time. So this is Bill's recipe. That's number 46. That's where it comes from. And the 46 is specifically French oak staved. So
Yep.
it's finished at the French oak. So there's
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Makers,
yeah.
and I actually have had 46, but it's been a while. It was
Okay.
in the old bottle.
Oh yeah.
Remember the bottle when they first came out?
Yep.
It was a
Taller
different shape
shoulders.
than
Yeah.
it was a different shape than, we'll say, the standard
Yeah.
one.
Yep. All right. So here's B. This is the limited edition one. It's Maker's Mark 46, but it's cask strength.
Ah.
So to your point about proof, so this is, I'll tell you my Latonia education here, 47. So that's 94 proof.
Right.
You were right on with that 90 number, less than 100. But the cask strength is coming in at 110.1.
That was
So
still pretty close.
So definitely warmer, right? We talked about this
Yep.
being a hotter version, but yeah, so this is cask strength. They've only released this twice. This is batch 1 from over 2 years ago. And this is the one that nobody was buying in East Palestine. It's like they didn't know what it was. But yeah, so
no, that's awesome.
This
I'm a
bottle,
big fan of Makers, so
yeah, me too. So this bottle, the regular 46, I reviewed it last year during Whiskey Christmas, and it did really, really well for me. I really enjoyed it. Kind of along with just the basic Russells, which is again like a 90 proofer. And I realized that I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the high proof stuff. And I think it's what you mentioned is that you would sit and drink this, with other people quicker. But this is a sit down and think about what you're doing kind of pour.
Right.
So, thoughts after the reveal?
I'm surprised at the difference between the
different.
strength.
Yeah, they were different bourbons completely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, this one, the thing about proofing down is that you're adding water. That's literally what all you're doing. And so adding that water has drastically changed the difference in those two. So, all right. Well, thank you very much, sir.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll end the recording, but then we can chat after we're done. But any parting words?
No, just appreciate you putting out the videos. I'll give credit to you for branching out beyond my daily drink and just having fun with bourbon. It's
absolutely.
It's good stuff.
Thank you for being a part of this. This is obviously something that took a little effort on your part to get stuff in the mail and set up a time. So I appreciate that. Give your best to the family, and thanks for being a part of it.
Will do. Thanks,
All right.
Sam. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.